Hello and welcome to Clearview News Desk. We are reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. I am Gloria Atta. Welcome. Amid the sit-at-home announced towards the commemoration of the Biafra Heroes Day this Friday, residents, especially traders, have lamented the harsh effect of the sit-at-home on their livelihood. Southeast Nigeria, known for its business activities, was brought to a halt as a result of the sit-at-home order by the indigenous people of Biafra. The streets of Umuahia in Abia State were well deserted as residents observed the sit-at-home for fear of harassment. Traders who spoke to our correspondent cried out over the effect of the sit-at-home on their businesses.
Because they told us 3 days ago that there will be lockdown. Came out now, we saw truly it's a lockdown.
I have some customers I'm supposed to attend to today, but they are also scared of coming out. At the end of the day, I'm supposed to pay rent, pay market levy and all that, but you are taking out some days out of the week. It's not really helping me.
Just like our political leaders have been pushing, our religious leaders also have been pushing, and even our traditional leaders have been pushing for the release of the man called Nnamdi Kanu. Let him be released from the prison. I think with his release, the sit-at-home order can be contained.
Meanwhile, an All Progressives Congress chieftain, Joe Ibokwe, in a post on his official Facebook page, stated that the agitations are capable of destroying the geopolitical zone. The chieftain noted that his advice to stop the agitation has over the years fallen on deaf ears. An exclusive story from Sahara Reporters has it that suspended Rivers Governor Fubara is set to join the All Progressives Congress (APC) as a result of political intimidation, all in a bid to crush opposition before the 2027 polls. This development, according to our source, is the culmination of a calculated campaign by the APC-led federal government to weaken opposition strongholds across the country ahead of the next general elections. In a major political twist that could reshape the 2027 electoral landscape, exclusive information obtained by Sahara Reporters reveals that President Bola Tinubu has finally coerced Rivers State Governor Similai Fubara into joining the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) following months of intense political pressure, institutional intimidation, and strategic coercion. Multiple sources familiar with the situation describe the pressure mounted on Governor Fubara as unprecedented and deeply troubling in Nigeria's democratic history. The source gathered that at the center of this political storm is Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, Fubara's political godfather turned adversary, adding that with federal backing, Wike spearheaded a relentless campaign to bring Fubara to his knees, from orchestrated legislative threats to judicial maneuvers and threats of impeachment. Wike was said to be acting with the full blessing of the presidency. Sources say the turning point came during the controversial 2025 London Peace Accord, a high-level secret negotiation between Fubara and Tinubu. In a recent interview with BBC Pidgin, Wike denied fighting with the suspended Rivers State Governor, saying, "Fubara is my son. Why will I fight with him?" According to a publication, Wike noted that he had told Fubara during a visit that he was ready for peace, if Fubara was ready as well. This abrupt political U-turn has left many Nigerians disillusioned. The report concluded that Fubara has been beaten into submission and Rivers State has been turned into a pawn in the power game of Abuja, adding that no governor has ever suffered such intimidation as Governor Fubara suffered in the history of Nigerian politics. The chairman and chief executive officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Brigadier General Buba Marwa retired, revealed the arrest of 2 individuals who attempted to smuggle cocaine while posing as pilgrims en route to Saudi Arabia for the annual Hajj. Speaking during the opening ceremony of the Interministerial Committee on Drug Control meeting in Abuja, Marwa disclosed that the suspects had ingested the illicit drug, pretending to be devout Muslims embarking on the holy pilgrimage. News Imefunokon has the details.
At the Interministerial Committee on Drug Control meeting in Abuja, the chairman and chief executive officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Brigadier General Buba Marwa, expressed concern over the disturbing trend of criminal networks exploiting religious sentiment, especially during Hajj, to traffic drugs internationally. Marwa lamented that few days ago, the agency arrested 2 would-be pilgrims who swallowed cocaine on their way to Saudi Arabia for the Hajj.
Just a few days ago, we arrested 2 would-be pilgrims going to Saudi Arabia for the Hajj, but embedded in their stomachs, cocaine, swallowed. They're going to pray to God, and already they are swallowing to go and sell. In the past, Nigerians on arrival in foreign airports, automatically, as you see the Nigerian passport, they just step aside because they are going through suspicion. But this is no longer the case because they appreciate there's a lot of work going on.
The NDLEA boss also added that 2 years ago, 3 women had allegedly been tricked after some individuals offered to pay for their ticket and visas, among others, and were handed a small bag to deliver to a supposed relative in Saudi Arabia. Unknown to them, cocaine had been sewn into the lining of the bag.
We've had incidents of people who have been deceived. Even now, we have a case of 3 women 2 years ago who were deceived with Hajj. Some people offered to pay for their Hajj, the tickets, visa, everything. And before they left, they brought a small bag and said, please, when you get there, there are some things here for you to give one of our relatives. But they have sewn cocaine under the bag. And they were caught in Medina, the airport, Saudi Arabia. So far, they've been prosecuted and given 25 years. But fortunately, we were able to arrest the perpetrators here in Nigeria. And so the matter is still unfinished. When I went to sign the MOU with my counterparts in Riyadh a few months ago, I drew attention to their fate. But we've arrested the perpetrators. Those women are innocent. And the matter is still ongoing. So you have this type of desperation from these people.
Marwa noted that despite funding challenges affecting the full implementation of the National Drug Control Master Plan 2021 to 2025, the agency remained steadfast in its mission. Imefonokon reporting for Clever News.
A war of words broke out on Thursday between the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, and Senator Ireti Kingibe over the recent sealing of properties in Abuja for failure to pay ground rent. Senator Kingibe, who represents the FCT in the Senate, criticized the clampdown as unconstitutional and high-handed. In a statement issued on May 26, 2025, and shared via her official X handle, she warned that the mass closure of buildings, including offices of key institutions like the People's Democratic Party Secretariat and Access Bank, violated the rights of residents and business owners. But Wike's camp swiftly fired back through a statement from his senior special advice assistant on public communications and social media, Lere Olainka. The minister accused Senator Kingibe of displaying ridiculous ignorance of the Land Use Act and turning every issue into a personal vendetta against Wike. According to Olayinka, ground rent is a legal obligation tied to land ownership, and failure to pay cannot be brushed aside. He insisted that Kingibe's opposition was politically motivated and called on her to purge herself from hatred for Wike rather than shield defaulters under the guise of defending legality. Senator Kingibe, however, maintained her position, arguing that while enforcement of ground rent is necessary, the method of sealing off properties without due process is illegal. The senator also warned that such abrupt enforcements erode public trust and worsen the economic hardship facing residents of the FCT. All sealed premises have remained sealed despite President Bola Tinubu's recent intervention, granting defaulters a 14-day grace period to settle their arrears. And that's the news. You can follow up on latest events and happenings around you via our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Clearview News Desk, or via our handle on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Clearview Online. Thanks for watching. I am Gloria Atta. Have a wonderful weekend.